Now, when this fresh clarification, Cass, is coming from Tehran side, let's put out the Iranian version as well, because they have completely denied reports of any upcoming talks between Iranian and US officials, saying that no direct negotiations for a final agreement that have begun yet, and also saying that Iran completely focuses on implementing the existing MoU, including issues related to oil sale authorization and also frozen assets. Tehran, in the meantime, has clarified that Iran's technical delegation's visit to Qatar is only linked to the MoU implementation, and it is unrelated to any other US direct engagement. Well, let's connect with Mayank on this angle. Mayank, again, it seems to be a one-sided unilateral statement that is coming in from President Trump's side, saying that it is Iran which requested for talks in Doha. But it seems that the venues keep changing. I mean, we've seen the Islamabad talks fail. Then the in-person signing of the agreement of this MoU didn't happen in Switzerland as it was being, talked of. And now it is now said that the next round of talks will happen in Doha. But are these actual talks, or what is this engagement going to be?
Amita, Qatar had come up as one of the most significant country which was helping with diplomacy, because understand this point that the wordings or the transcription of the both sides' views and opinions on MoU, or rather the actual wordings in black and white, were held by Qatar only at the last moment, and it was a long marathon meeting which took place with Qatar, and after that only MoU wordings or transcription had come out. So that is the kind of a significance which Qatar, at least in this case, holds. Now, coming back specifically to the talks, yes, definitely the point brought out by Iran is significant in the sense that implementation of whatever has been put up in all those 14 points within MoU is significant, because that covers everything, and that covers sanctions also and nuclear issues also. Because when the 4 technical groups were formed, one of them is technical actually. Implementation is an important part of those technical groups, yes, ultimately. So there was an observation group also which was formed so as to see that things are implemented. And 2-3 days back, when again the military means were used by both sides, in that case also Iran was quoting the point number 5, saying that they were the one who were supposed to make the arrangements in Strait of Hormuz. So Strait of Hormuz is definitely the most sticking point right now. Whatever happens there will affect the whole globe, and indirectly US also. So that is the main important point, that who will be managing that area. Having said that, Iran has not come down ever, saying that they are the only one who will be managing, regulating, controlling the Strait of Hormuz, not the Gulf of Oman, because which is the opening of the Strait of Hormuz. So we have to see. Now coming specifically to talks, Iran has followed a trend that till last moment they don't come out with the points or the real number of delegations, or whether they are taking part in the meetings or not. Because last 3 times we have observed, and the trend has been that they announce at the last moment, which happened on 8th of April also, when 70-member delegation had come to Pakistan, or rather 11th.
Now, we've seen, the tensions in the room and the awkwardness, that was pretty much visible, as both sides seems to be under the same roof. But there was a lot of, awkwardness that could be seen as far as their body language is concerned. But when we talk about engagements, because this is time, it's going to be led by Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. There is no presence of Vice President Vance in this. But we also talk about what President Trump has now been saying, because the military objectives, as he seems to be reiterating at every point, that he believes that, America, having the world's biggest military, has destroyed the Iranian military altogether. And President Trump is now insisting that the focus is now on the complete denuclearization of Iran, asserting that Tehran has agreed not to pursue nuclear weapons. Again, this is something which Iran has refuted.
Oil prices are way down. We hit $69 today. It was higher than that prior to the denuclearization of Iran fight that we have, which we're doing very well. There'll be a meeting on that tomorrow in Doha. And to go into Qatar, I think they've already left, or they're just about getting ready to leave. So we'll see how that goes. But we're doing very well on that front. But the meeting in Doha is going to be perhaps important, perhaps not. We're going to find out. But we're winning militarily. It's almost won militarily, I would say. And it's really very simple. It's the denuclearization of Iran, we don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And they've agreed to that, in all fairness.
So, Mayank, on the statement that President Trump is giving on denuclearization, if we go back in time, weren't the talks happening back then, even before this military operation that was launched? I mean, what's the difference between, the denuclearization talks that I believe was happening in Geneva back then and now in Qatar?
Amitabh, that's a very important point, because Joint Comprehensive Plan of April 2015 also was about this only, mind it. And when the operation started, Iran was claiming that they were ready to talk on every issue and every topic, which included the nuclear issues also. And now what we are talking is the same, actually. So virtually what we see eventually is the most important point for every country, in this case when the term existential threat was used by Iran, is for this, by Israel, when they started Operation Roaring Lion, it was for this only. So what we see ultimately for 60 days, the point of nuke issues, nuclear weapon has to be discussed, capping the missile technology and drone technology has to be discussed. These become the ultimate points, actually. The Strait of Hormuz for the immediate is very important because it was found to be doable. Once done, trust will be built up, and then they can escalate the points, significant points, reaching to the aspect of nuclear issues. So you brought it right. It has been discussed since last almost a decade and more than that. And in this case, we are back to the square one, talking about nuclear issues again.
Yes.
After having such a long war, which created a major destruction on every side.
But again, one would talk about A, the objective, and B, has that been achieved? And C, when we talk about now, does Iran have the upper hand? As far as this MoU is concerned, it seems to be having its way. And how in this manner the Strait of Hormuz has been the most effective weapon that Iran has used. And even till recently, despite the signing of the MoU, there have been incidents of violations of the ceasefire that has also been reported on both sides. I mean, Iran has also retorted as far as hitting Bahrain and Kuwait once again. It seems to be the developments that is now coming in. We'll see exactly what happens in Doha now. Both sides, however, having a completely different point of view. Thank you very much, Mayank. Appreciate you joining us here on the broadcast. Well, that seems